Welcome back to my studio. I'm Bea Grob and I love to inspire you. It is all about art journaling, painting, collage, assemblages, and anything else that sparks my interest. So enjoy! Hey everybody, welcome back to my studio. I'm so glad you're here today again. Now, as you have seen from the thumbnail and the intro, I'm gonna do a flip through to some of my art journals. I have those art journals since a while finished, but I just didn't get around to do a flip through, so I thought it's now or never. Anyway, now I don't do all of them today. I mean, I want to have just like a 20-minute video if I can do it like that. So that's I'm gonna start with my oldest one, which is this one, and I'm gonna change camera right now. So I'm going to start with my oldest one, and if there is enough time, we're going to start with this one too. So I do have my timer here just to remind me when it is time to stop babbling. Anyway, now I do those journals. This one are actually from catalogs from like a nursery, or some are also like fashion catalogs or art supplies or something like that, but I like those that are matte paper, which is usually recycled paper, so that's what I'm using for them. Now and that's the original format they come in, so that's the size of the signature they have. So I actually, for the back and front cover, I did sew two together. I mean, I did glue them first and then I did sew them. You can see the sewing. So the sewing is purely for decoration. It doesn't really hold everything together. I did actually glue them. Let me know if you want to have a video about how I do those kind of journals. Now what I did with this one also, I did add pieces of just a simple muslin, just to make sure that they can handle the stitching together, the binding. So, but I didn't do it with the next one actually, so we'll see. But time will tell me if it is fine or not. Anyway, let's start. I try to remember to show you when you see the original pieces, like that's the original catalog, this part. But then I did add the collage elements. That is a copy from my own painting. That's my own stamp, something I did. Pieces from napkins down here. Then I also did add some modeling paste, and that's from a magazine also, and it says from head to toe, von Kopf bis Fuß. We say from head to feet, but you say from head to toe. Anyway, that's the cover, front cover. Now here you don't see anything from the original papers. I just did add so much paint, and I also did add washi tapes and collage papers, and then I drew a figure and painted in. Here again you can see a little bit of the original papers, and then I added again collage papers. I have some napkins with this text here. I added paint through one of my rose stencil, and then I added the figure, also one of my stencils, in black. And here I have a little bit of sewing pattern copy. I have old sewing patterns which I copy and to reuse, and I also shrink them sometimes so I can make it more appropriate for different sizes. Now this, we have to look that way. Again, you don't see anything from the original. I did add collage parts like old sewing patterns. That's actually newspaper. I remember that. The title, It Would Not Stop, just catched my eye. I'm not so good with prompts, but some quotes or titles, they just spark my imagination. That is an old invoice I have here, and then I added those reddish greenish colors all around. And in the end I did use a stencil which isn't available yet, but if you're interested, just message me down below in the comments if you would like one of those stencils too, so I'm gonna make it available in my shop too. I wasn't sure if somebody would really be interested in a tree stencil. Anyway, here we have additional flip outs. I actually did, I don't know whether you can see it, I'm gonna go up. You can barely see it. I did sew it in with the sewing machine. Can I go? I have to figure out which side I have to go. Yeah, now you can see it. So I did use the glue and the sewing. Don't trust the sewing so much. I have always the feeling it takes too much tear on the paper, so I make sure I have some glue too. Yeah, I like those little surprises. That's an embellishment somebody did send me in a happy mail. That's one of my paintings. There's watercolor involved. There are markers and some acrylic paint is involved. Mixed media. Again, some of my stencils. Okay. This is actually a stencil of mine, and the hydrangea I did also use as a stencil for her hair. And again, you don't see a lot of the original. I did add like ephemera before I put on paint. A little chicken I did draw. So just paint, and down here again you can a little bit see of the original papers I have used. You certainly don't see anything on here because I remember I went over with paint so many times because I wasn't happy with the outcome. It's quite stiff and quite heavy now, but in the end, yeah, I managed to have something I like. I'm really very consequent about my art journal pages. If I don't like them, I just paint over it. I know people say, yeah, but you don't see your progress, but I want a nice outcome. That's what I want. I mean, more or less nice outcome. Anyway, I did do those delphiniums, and those are actually rub-ons from Canvas Corp brand. I just added, just to add something. Now that's a heavy one. Let's see. Yeah, here we see it. That are those foils you use in the overhead projectors. And I did jelly print them, but just slightly, so they stay transparent with some color. And then I went around with the sewing machine again, and then I glued it on with gel medium. But I had already a background where, yeah. That was a really easy one. Again, here you can see a little bit of the original. But I simply did add a little bit paint underneath and then added a napkin. So all you can see here, that is napkin. And then, wenn ich nicht in meinem Atelier sein kann, ist das nächstbeste ein verwilderter Garten. If I can't be in my studio, the next best is being in an overgrown garden. That's what it means. Yeah. Again, you don't see a lot of the original pages. Maybe here at the end a little bit. That's what is from the original page left. I added collage papers, ephemera. First I did play on this page. I do jump from page to page, so I did start with this page. I remember that, and then I suddenly thought, okay, I'm gonna make it a spread. But here I did use actually some of my stencils. I remember it was very new stencil I had, and I just want to try it out. And then I thought, okay, on this side I'm gonna just paint some roses. I paint flowers so they do not die, Frida Kahlo. Again, you don't see a lot of the original page because I did add a lot of ephemera, and that's part of a napkin, I think. That's some of my own handmade washi tapes. There is a YouTube video somewhere. If I remember, I'm gonna link that. And then I did draw and paint a face. Over here, that's a napkin. Somebody did send me some stenciling work, and that's Angelina fiber stamped. So that's how I get, you probably can, that's better, so you can see it. So, and the frame is also embossed. Again, not a lot visible on both sides. You don't see a lot of the original pages. They are just a starting point for me. I have no issue with covering them up, even if I have beforehand added some mark making or some collage. It's just so I don't have a blank page. Anyway, I did first color a little bit with purple and pinks and whatnot. There's some yellow here also. And then I did draw in with the pen the flowers and did go in with the gesso to bring the flowers a little bit more to the surface. Did color a lot, the background first, and then added a face again, drawing and painting, and those jewelry, they are actually from a magazine and cut out. I also did make flaps just because I liked the idea. And again, I did glue and sew it, so it is zigzagged, but I did first glue it. If you do glue it, yeah, make sure that the glue is dry before you sew. And then I just added some abstract figures and some plants, and yeah. This is a whole spread. Again, that's a stencil of mine, which you can have in the shop. Those are my roses, also from the shop. And then I added a little bit more doodling, a little bit more greenery, and it's inspired by Klimt. You probably have guessed that with those golden triangles. It's actually a bronze color, not a gold color, but hey. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. It's from Langston Hughes. Don't know who the guy is, but I did like the quote, so that's what I used here. Again, nothing left from the original paper. I just had the feeling I want to make a funky face, so that's what I did here. And then switching from a funky face to a chicken. By the way, I don't do the pages in order. I just jump to a page which appeals me at the moment and do something there. Some napkins in the background, some stencils, and then I just added a chicken or a rooster, whatever you want to call it. Depending a little bit on the race, how much of those wattles they have as chickens. Then this one has to go like this. It's my hydrangea stencil. I did play with that. And here, I don't know whether you can see it. Here we go. There's a little rub-on from Canvas Corp brand again. Here I did experiment with ink, with India ink. Yeah, just left it as it is. That's one of the pages that could be covered up and done with something else. Sometimes I do that. I go to art journals and look at that and think, I don't like that, let's do something else. Sometimes I leave it, sometimes not. Here you actually can see the brochure here in the flower, so I did leave those here. And then again I did play with some of my stamps. A lot. Again, you can see here the original catalog. I think this time was the fashion catalog I did use mostly, not the nursery. A copy of one of my paintings, a little frame I had from somewhere, and just again some napkin and some stencil work. Again, rather quick one. I did a lot of collage. I also have included a stamp, and then I added a napkin. And you close this one Oh, that was the wrong way. Okay, wrap this twice and then you can tie it like that. And it has already some color from another project. How are we doing with time? Another 5 minutes. Okay, let's see. Now, this one I did do from packaging paper, and when I order materials from the art store, they do those little bunch up some packing paper to protect the goodies, and they tear it sometimes like that. So that's the original tear, so I just used it like it is. Did add a lot of drop-off papers, a jelly print that didn't work out for me, and in this one I did work when it was already bound. Now this one I did make the pages first, that's why I could use the sewing machine afterwards to do all that sewing. And here you can see a little bit from the packaging paper that was printed with speed pack or something like that, yeah. So then I had Trash to Treasure and some sequins in flower shape, which I did hand sew on it. That I actually did hand sew. Again, I did left it as it is. I did let, and that's the original color. I just added some some gesso, but I did collage those flowers which I had a sketch somewhere, and my butterfly, and drew a face, and that's actually a napkin, her dress. Yeah. Here I didn't do a lot, except of adding some paint and then doing a graphite sketch. She looks a little bit scary, I just figured out now. It's okay. Again, I just added some paint in the background and did draw a face, and yeah. Again, I did add a little bit of collage papers, and that is one of my stencils. I added a flower, did a half of a face, and the quote, "They can't detain you 'cause wings are made to fly." That's actually a piece I did on some Bristol paper. I did play a little bit, and it's not watercolor paper, it is watercolor and the Nero soft, so that's why I didn't flow really, but I still didn't want it to throw out. That's one of my drawings I did print out. There's actually a stencil now from this, not a stencil, a stamp. Yeah, choose what makes your heart bloom. Fight the dark days. Yeah, there are days and there are days. That's just all I gotta say about it. But I did use, I like to gesso some vintage papers and then draw in faces. But I also did add the bird later on, so. Again, it's one of those faces I did on those ephemera, which I did slightly gesso, but I then also added some tea dye paper. Not tea dye, tea bag paper, sorry. Every day holds the possibility of a miracle. And I don't remember what that is. Oh, that was actually a napkin. That's, yeah, the whole piece here was a napkin. Mainly color and a little bit of graphite and a little bit of my own stamping. Here I did play with ink and my glass. I have to do it like that. Okay. She is a floating feather in love with the wind. I do love wind, so yeah, it seemed appropriate. And it's just ink and a little bit of watercolor. Playing with my stencil. Search for soul in everything. And that are actually pieces I did on some sketch paper which I did cut out and add here. Some abstract figures which I did collage. These are the security envelopes. That's the largest I can go with the figures because, yeah, maybe they are larger, but I don't get the larger envelopes. Anyway, yeah. That's a piece from a magazine, the lamp. There's a specific name, I don't remember right now. Okay, that's the timer. Let's go on a little bit. What do you think? Anyway, that's from a napkin. And that's just a drawing with just a little bit of paint. One of my stencils also. And then sewed again with the sewing machine, adding a flower bouquet, and that's from a napkin. That's a purely collage from different magazines and books. The reason why I have a collage here is I had to hide my hand stitching. So that's why I did a collage here. So I first did again, I don't go from page to page, I jump pages. I did add my, again, it's my stencil, and then I did add a little bit of embroidery. I think there is a video here for this one, how I did this one, and you purely can see. Remember, I did the pages before I did bind the book, so I can't go under the sewing machine. One of my paintings, and again I tried to incorporate sewing, which means, I mean, I did first this page, now I remember I did first this page, I did sew it, so I have it on the other side mirrored, so I did paint in the face again. Just a little bit of paint, a little bit of graphite, a birdie. And then, yeah, just painting and with a little bit marker. And that's again, that's a piece somebody did send me. I thought he is cute. So, landscape, I do like to paint landscapes too. I do it also on canvases. One of my faces, but I did first that. I remember that. Just scribbling and then adding additional lines with sewing. So that is sewn. Then I had to incorporate that here somehow. So, yeah. Again, what you can see here, I had to cover up. So, yeah, just playing with paint and stitching and writing. Here underneath I do have old transfer patterns for embroidery from the 30s or 40s, from, yeah, probably from my grandma. Here I did play a little bit with modeling paste, so yes, I like her. I do use her very often. In the background I have a lot of napkins. I'm not sure, but maybe that's a video too, or then it's an Instagram video. Yep, it happened. It happens all the time to me. I did her upside down, but hey. Again, that I did on some Bristol paper with the watercolor, and it just did sew it in, and then I had to make something on the other side with that sewn line, so that's what I did. A little bit of collage, a little bit of stamping, a little bit of painting. I do like her. That's I did add the vintage sewing pattern in brown, and then just did draw her and paint her. Again, I did just draw her and paint her. I did use the same stencil, but I did elongate it a little bit, I think. And then I have yeah, that's one of my stamps. That is a fun project, and I'm pretty sure there is a video to that. I did use the envelope where you see through. That's one of my figures I occasionally draw. Some tulips. a whole scenery with chickens and a farmhouse in the background. And again, I did use some sewing. And I don't know how, yeah, you actually can still see it, but I did collage over it. But can you see it here? It's still visible what I did. So here, some collage with some are drop papers, some are jelly prints, some are just painted papers. Another fun guy, I would say, this time. Just had the feeling I want to paint something different. A drawing, I have a lot of collage paper in the background. Again, here I did draw and paint, added a vase and some collage elements. I don't know whether you can see. I did again this foil for the overhead projector. I did emboss. I have collage elements from magazines. That's actually one of my paintings. I did make a copy. And I didn't do anything. I just felt like that's enough, the heart with the colors. And again, here I did just add papers. Okay. Okay, that's it for those two journals. I hope you enjoyed. And if there are any questions, just leave them down below in the comments. I hope you enjoyed and I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.